The views expressed on the following program don't necessarily reflect those of WPSL, staff management, or ownership. However, we do encourage you to like and share them on social media because it's time for the Great Events Show. It's actually the Sue Ellen Sanders Show with Sue Ellen Sanders.
I love the fact that Cliff makes up something different every time he does the intro, and it's very versatile, and that's what this show is too. So welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're glad you're here. We like to tell you about things that are going on in the community and the needs that the community may have. Very often nonprofit organizations or special events or issues that you may want to know more about it. But the important thing is that we're very local, and we talk about local needs and local issues and local organizations. And one of those local organizations happens to be the Port St. Lucie Business Women's organization. And I have with me today Diana Gonzalez, who is the chairman of their big annual event, the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Fashion Show. And Diana is also what is your title with WQCS?
I do special events
and
membership.
So really, you're just doing this with the Port St. Lucie Business Women for free, but it's something you already know how to do.
Exactly, as a volunteer.
Yes, that's
and
awesome.
a member of the organization.
And a member of the organization. And we're going to talk more about the event, and we're going to talk more about the organization in a minute. We also have with us Carol Wyatt, who you may know from Carol Wyatt, WPSL. And she is here because she is a longtime member of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Association.
And 25 years. That was the first organization I joined when we moved to Port St. Lucie. Yes.
Well, and that's a story in itself.
A lot of years, yes.
So 25 years.
A lot of fashion shows.
Yes. And the fashion show, this is what annual fashion show?
It's the 29th.
It's the 29th. So they were actually doing the fashion show before Carol Wyatt moved to town.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So first of all, the fashion show is coming up in April. It's April 6th. But one of the reasons we're doing this show this week, which is a little bit in advance, is because there's a lot of work that goes into the fashion show. For example, you're still looking for sponsorships.
Exactly. We need sponsorships, and we're also looking for businesses that would like to advertise.
Because you have a program.
In our program, because we have advertisement for the program.
And then you also have a silent auction.
And if anyone would also like to buy tickets, I'm sure they could talk to Diana or myself.
Yes, or I happen to be a member
Sue
now
Ellen.
too.
That's right.
I'm one of the newest members of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Association. Now, Carol, when you first moved to town, why was this the organization you joined?
Well, first of all, I was invited.
That's important.
The Reverend Betsy Steyer was someone I met.
Betsy,
yes,
yeah.
when I first. And she said, I have a group I think you would enjoy, so come with me. Mm-hmm. And she was right. It was a group of women who not only were involved in business in Port St. Lucie, but also it was just a good group, very friendly and helpful. And it was something I enjoyed. So...
And the neat thing about Port St. Lucie Business Women, just to let you know if you might be a woman out there interested, is it is a very diverse group. There's women who come from all different types of occupation, and really the only rules are, A, you have to be a woman and you have to be invited. But you probably know someone who's a part of the organization. You have to either live or work in Port St. Lucie. And if you're somebody who likes to give back to the community, and you like to network, and you like to socialize, then this is really a great organization for you.
And it's supportive. I had a favorite moment. It was a few months ago, but we have a young attorney who's a fairly new member. And we do announcements at each meeting. And she stood up and said she had taken exams and she had just been board certified in a new area of law. And there was just spontaneous cheering. It was that supportive moment that everyone was happy for a member who had achieved.
And sometimes, especially when you're a woman, you may want to celebrate achievements that the people around you, either at your office or in your home, can't appreciate, whether you have little kids at home and they don't really understand the importance of what mommy has accomplished, or whether the people in your office all have accomplished some of the same things, and so it's no big deal to them. It's nice to have a kindred group that can celebrate you.
It certainly is, yes.
And embrace you.
And over the years, we've had speakers at the meetings, and many of them have helped deal with issues in the workplace, issues, everything from dealing with, cybersecurity threats into dealing with workplace law and employees, and then on through, just the different things that are just interesting to all of us. But it's been helpful in that way.
And there's really a variety of age groups that are involved too. I think the youngest person is, maybe in their late 20s or so. And then the oldest person is probably in their 80s. It's not you or I, Carol. I know it's not.
Well, we actually have developed, and I've forgotten what we're calling it, but it's kind of an emeritus group. It's a group of the senior members.
Yes.
And, they kind of drop the attendance requirements and so forth, but they have their own meetings, and they keep going.
They do.
Yeah, they're dedicated.
And one of those emeritus members, actually, when I first moved to town 30 years ago, Lee Hicks was very much welcoming of me, and she was retiring from her position at Harbor Federal, which was the position I was taking. And I had not seen her in years, and then when I got my new position at the Early Learning Coalition, I received a little envelope in the mail from Lee Hicks that was a copy of the Palm Beach Post announcement of my new position. Mm-hmm. How sweet was that?
Yeah.
My husband didn't even do that. So
but Lee did.
Yes, that was an example of, celebrating, each other's achievements. Diana, how long have you been a member?
I've been a member now 3 years.
3 years. So you're relatively new.
Yes.
To what was the reason you joined to begin with?
With the Lucie Business Women, I wanted to give back to more than just one organization in the community, and this group gave me that option to give so much to so many.
That is an excellent point, because it's kind of like an umbrella organization in that there's so many opportunities to give back, and it's through part of your dues, and then the events that you do, like the fashion show on April 6th that we'll be talking about soon, and you raise the money for grants, for scholarships, for nonprofit organizations, and so it's something where you can cover a whole lot of areas in just one membership.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's community involvement. There are the scholarships that help women at IRSC. And I think of the community grants. Those cover, I think, usually 10 different agencies and quite a whole range of services for children and for women in the community.
Because we have awarded more than $300,000 in grants and scholarships as of today.
And that's a big difference that we are making in the community ourselves. And you can be just a small part of it. And as women in business, and there are only so many hours in the day. I mean, there's the same amount of hours in the day for men in business. I will grant them this. But women seem to have a little bit more on their plate at any given time, and that's why we're so good at multitasking. But for those of us who are mothers and grandmothers and wives and dog grandmas and dog mamas. Who's the one who usually takes the kids for doctor's appointments? Who's the one who takes the dogs for the vet visit? Who's the one who sets up the different things for the household? We have less hours in the day and more reason to spend our hours wisely.
That's how Diana manages to do all this for the fashion show. Yes.
Yes. Okay. So there's scholarships, there's grants, and there's community. Would you call them endowments? Community grants. The grants.
Community grant. Yes.
Okay.
To different organizations.
Each
yes.
year.
Oh, each year, certainly. The scholarships, particularly. I know we've been doing, and I'm not going to guess how many years, but for a long, long time. They're nice size scholarships. They're $2,500, and we have done at least 3 of them. We're adding a 4th this year. But they go to not only high school students going into college, but then there's another one for college students wanting to continue in college, and for a woman who's out in the workplace. Has been out of college for a while and wants to go back. I've always enjoyed that one.
And that is very cool, because a lot of times when you have your family and you've been out of college for a while, that's what stops you from continuing on, is because you don't have that extra funds. I remember when I was applying for financial aid for my kids for college, and I thought, well, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go to grad school, because I thought that I would be the 3rd child in the financial aid. Well, let me tell you, it doesn't work like that.
Probably not. No.
No, it doesn't. I thought, well, certainly the government will look upon it as there are 3 dependents that are all in college at the same time. No. And that's why it's really important that organizations like Port St. Lucie Business Women gives women the opportunity to do that. And then some of the grants, there's a grant cycle where organizations can apply for grants. Is it open now, Diana?
It's usually in May.
In
and
May?
They haven't set the date yet, but
Okay.
definitely it opens up in May.
So watch for it in May. If you're listening to this show and you don't know much about it, but you're interested in perhaps applying, go ahead and like the Port St. Lucie Business Women's page on Facebook, because then you'll get announcements of the different things as they're coming up.
Or they can visit at the website.
Or you can visit the website.
Which is
PSLBW.com.
Okay.
PSLBW.com.
Yes. So those are 2 ways you can find out more information, because you might be driving down the road this evening and you might not be retaining everything we're talking to you about. And so you can get information on the special events, on the grant cycle. You can get information on what opportunities are, and you can also get information on membership.
Absolutely.
Should you desire to join. Because if you don't know somebody who's already a part of the club, you can see who's part of the membership and maybe reach out to them and say, hey, I'd like to come and see if this club is a good place for me. The Port St. Lucie Business Women meet twice a month, and always on Thursday, and it's the second and fourth Thursday. First and third. It's the first and third. Okay.
That's what I got. No.
Okay. No, we got confused because January it was different because of the holidays. Okay.
I moved it.
So it's the 2nd and 3rd Thursday, and it's a lunchtime meeting, and
It's always at Tuda Fresco.
it's always at Tuda Fresco.
But you must be invited by one of the members
Yes.
to attend the
Yes.
first meeting. And there's a list of the members on the website.
Yeah, so you can reach out to someone you know. And if honestly, if you're in business in St. Lucie County and you look at the list, there's probably going to be a few that you recognize on that list. The organization is a grand one, but in order to raise the funds to give the money away, you have to have some special events and some fundraising opportunities. And the big one that Port St. Lucie Business Women have been doing for 29 years is the fashion show, which is coming up on April 6th. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, Diana is the chairman of the fashion show, which is a whole lot of work. But it's a good thing that she's already experienced in putting on special events, because this is cut out for you.
Absolutely, it is a lot of work, but we do need the support of the community and our members to make this happen.
And this is also one event that all of the members get involved with in one way or another. They serve on a committee publicizing it, or they might be selling tickets for opportunities to win special prizes, or they might be collecting auction items, or if they may be modeling in the fashion show.
Absolutely.
Carol, you're going to add something.
Well, we even rope our husbands in once in a while. Greg is getting really good at selling 50-50 tickets at the fashion show.
He is, and
He's coming back for his third year.
it's something about Greg that the women just flock to him to buy their tickets.
Well, the star has been Mayor Orvek has been a guest 50-50 ticket
He's
seller.
a pretty aggressive 50-50 ticket seller.
The mayor's arm length, yes. That's a specialty
Everybody
that
wants
he
his
has.
arms, yes.
So we're looking forward to his return as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there's a lot of opportunities for the members to get involved, and so you might have already been contacted by somebody, and you may already know about the fashion show. But if you're interested in sponsorships, Diana is the person to give you all that information. And if you're interested in buying tickets, you can buy them from any of the members.
Absolutely. And there's also an Eventbrite page open that anyone can buy their tickets online.
So, and that makes it really easy.
And that makes it very simple
to buy online. Now, the Eventbrite page is linked to both the Facebook page,
Absolutely.
and there is a Facebook event page as well. And one of my favorite of the little mini speakers that we had with the meeting was last week's meeting, where some of the people who didn't possibly know how to share events and to like pages on Facebook was kind of like a quick and easy training on how to do it. Because there's always somebody who's just says, oh yeah, I'm going to like you on Facebook, or yeah, I'm going to share your event. And then when push comes to shove and they look at it, they have no clue how to do that.
Oh yeah, that was a very, we did it last year and it went great. And this year we tried it again.
So I do invite you, if you're listening and you do have a Facebook page, to go to Port St. Lucie Business Women's Facebook page and like it, and then find the event listed there and share it. Or you can share the information, or you can invite other friends to like the Port St. Lucie Business Women page.
Absolutely. And our theme this year is Hawaiian heels. So this is a luau that we'll be having for this event. So buy the tickets and get dressed.
So heels means it's dressy Hawaiian, right?
Oh, muumuu and heels? No.
Yeah.
Any heels.
Hawaiian.
Did you give Greg the memo on this?
Haven't yet, but yeah.
Does he have his Hawaiian
Hawaiian
shirt ready?
shirt. Oh, we
Yeah.
haven't thought about that yet.
Yes.
Okay. We'll work on that.
And of course, he doesn't have to wear his heels.
No,
Yeah.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good thing, yes.
Move along. So, what else do we need to share as far as information about the fashion show? What kind of fashions are we going to be seeing?
Well, there's a variety of different stores that we're finalizing now, so we'll just stay
Okay.
tuned for that information that are donating the clothes in the community. We have kept it local here in St. Lucie County, so I just can't wait to see what the fashions are going to look like. We do have models. We actually have all the models as of today. So it'll be interesting to see some of the community members that are getting involved with us this year.
So they're members from the community that so also beyond the Port St. Lucie Business
Yes,
Women's
that they
group.
have offered. They're volunteering their time to be models.
I think what's been fun, not in the past, I've modeled a long time ago in the fashion show, but it's always fun that there's kind of a variety of styles. So usually there's some business dress, and there's some really dress-up dress, and then there's some casual, and
and
the
it's
whole
men
range.
and women, so
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
mixture.
and it is men and women.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, so do men and women both come to the fashion show as well?
It's mostly women.
But, but they are
Occasionally,
invited.
Okay, if they'd like to,
Buy a
certainly.
ticket and come
Yeah.
in.
The
So-
luncheon would be open, yes.
So, and where's it going to be held this year?
It actually, this year it's going to be at the PGA Village Island Club in PGA. We used to do it at Harbor Ridge for many years, but we have moved the location a little bit more central to the PGA Village Island Club.
All
and
right.
the tickets are $55 per person. It's from 11 to 2.
On April 6th.
On April 6th,
which is a
Saturday.
Saturday. Yeah.
And it's always been a very elegant affair,
Yes.
too. It's something that people look forward to and come back year after year. That you see, who you haven't seen since last year, but it's definitely on the calendar.
And then, of course, we have the G. Allen's jewelry piece that is raffled off. Every year he creates a special piece for
And
that.
there's an opportunity to win
that piece.
Yeah.
And then our main raffle this year is to Sandals Resorts in Jamaica. So you have an
Okay.
opportunity to be there
So
for
you'll
3
have an
nights
opportunity to win
all-inclusive
those.
3
Yes,
nights resort.
yes. Now, the 50/50, that's separate from the rest of the auction items. And I just have to describe this for you because last year I went to the Business Women's Fashion Show, but the few years before then I didn't have the opportunity to. So I was kind of taken aback when I walked in the room to see dozens and dozens, and might I even say hundreds of silent auction items out on the table.
Yep, it's a lot of items.
It's a lot of stuff, a lot of cool things that are some of the baskets, services. So if you're listening to the show and you have something that you'd like to donate to be a part of the silent auction, who do people need to contact for that?
They can actually contact me. I'll make
All
sure
right,
that
we'll call
just
you.
everything for Diana. It's
Diana,
okay.
Yeah.
I'll make sure I get back to everybody.
You're
and-
not great at delegating today,
No,
are ya?
I'll take care of
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So that's good.
But it's a whole range of things. We've had golf foursomes. For the last 4 or 5 years, the Marlins have given us the fan experience. You get to go before a game and down by the batting
Lucie
cage.
Metz just gave us
Good,
an
okay.
experience, and the general manager was going to be one of our models.
Oh, aha.
Ooh, that is going to be
okay.
very cool.
All
Is,
right.
is that
So
is that
inside-
still Paul? No, somebody else.
Treyer?
Trey.
Treyer, okay. All
Okay,
right,
okay.
yes.
What does Paul Tagliari do there now?
It is up in the title is in the Mets organization.
Okay.
And I know that is
Yeah,
escaping me
okay,
right now. But
all
yes,
right.
he
But
is
the-
definitely there.
Okay,
But I think the
he's
general
still
manager
there.
of the St. Lucie Mets is
sent-
Treyer. Yeah.
Treyer.
Okay, that's very cool. And what, you couldn't get Tim Tebow?
Oh, I wish.
Oh, well.
Maybe if Tim is listening to this show, and I'm sure that he's like a frequent listener when he is here, and actually you can also listen online too. If he's listening, he could step forward to be a model.
Absolutely.
I know you said you had your
no,
models full,
we
but
can-
would you make an exception
Absolutely.
for Tim? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're really excited to have him back in town. Not wanting to go on a Tim Tebow tangent, but how could you not? Such a nice guy. I love when he's on late night TV, and even the late night hosts are not as caustic and sarcastic when he's there, because I saw him. I can't remember whose show he was on last week. He was talking about the Special Olympics, the Night to Shine that the Tim Tebow Foundation does, and that just happened a couple weeks ago. We had someone here talking about it, and I was hoping that person was going to be Tim Tebow, but it was not. But it's nice to see people out there that are succeeding in life and at the same time sharing their success with others.
Mm-hmm.
So
Certainly is.
okay, so back to the Port St. Lucie Business Women. Back to a more local look. You have Diana. As I said, you are probably one of the newer members because you've only been on board for 3 years. Some of the members of the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Association, are there still founding members that are still coming actively to meetings, Carol?
Yes. The first name that comes to mind is Karen Moret. She's been a realtor in St. Lucie County for years and years and years. She was a founding member. And I'm trying to think. There are other founding members who are still
come to the meeting.
around, or they come to the special events. I mean, I always enjoy our Christmas dinners, which are also now the installation dinners. But that's when you see some of the people coming back that were the founding members.
So it's a neat group to be a part of, especially because there's such a variety of people that are involved. And again, you can find out more about becoming a member, and it's very reasonably priced as a club membership because you pay. I think it's like $50 for membership, and then you pay for your lunch when you go to lunch, which you would pay. Is it $13, $15, something like that? 15.
Yeah.
You'd pay that for lunch out anyhow, because that includes your tip and everything.
One thing they do require, which I think is very good, you have to serve on a committee. You have to get involved in something. And you also have to come to the fashion show, or at least buy a ticket to the fashion show. So it brings everybody in, to the activities, so that nobody kind of comes in and gets lost. They're involved in something.
Yes.
And this event is all hands-on, every member, including yourself.
Yes, yeah.
Must participate.
I think this is my participation.
Oh no, you're not done.
And I will do plenty more too. I actually have a family event that we're hosting the same day at exactly the same time. However, it's our family fun fair, and the people who are going to come to our family fun fair are not going to be the same people who would go to the fashion show, other than me. So I won't be able to be there, but I certainly will buy a ticket and sell a ticket, and sell some opportunities to win as well, because one of them is the cruise that you were talking. Not a cruise this year.
It's Sandals Resort.
Sandals Resort.
All inclusive
resort.
Okay. And
in
where is
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
Okay, yes.
And the other one is G. Allen's Jewelry. And each year he's been donating something for this.
Yes, some beautiful necklaces, that are handmade and designed.
But he
he's
creates
been very
a design.
generous.
Yeah,
yes.
and the design is for the event itself. There's no other piece.
Yeah.
So every year is a special just for this event.
And his stuff is really unique. And actually, if you're you have a birthday or something coming up, or for your husband forgot to bring you anything for Valentine's Day,
you can help him
say
out.
You've been married 29 years and he just doesn't know what to get you anymore, then you could kind of pick your own thing out and say, honey, you gave this to me for Valentine's Day.
As I remember, at least one year, G. Allen had an event for men, or you could email what you liked from G. Allen to someone who should know.
He does that. I don't know if he does it for Valentine's Day, but I know he does it before the holidays. And he does like a cigar and gentleman event, because my husband has gone before, and it always means that I'm going to get some quality holiday presents. But I just have to share with you, we still have plenty of time, right, Cliff? How much time we got? Oh yeah, plenty of time. So I did get a Valentine's Day present from my husband this year, and he was out of town for Valentine's Day, so I just got it last night, and it is an action figure of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It is the coolest Valentine's Day present I think that I've ever gotten. I'm really excited about it, because he knew. To me, it's more than what the present is. It is the thought behind it.
Absolutely.
that she is a strong superwoman, and he understands my admiration for her. So I thought that was really cool. So back to the auction, though, because you already are collecting some silent auction items.
Yep, absolutely. We from anything from house stuff to pet stuff to children, beach,
Gift cards.
Gift cards.
Yes.
or you can give us some money, a donation, and we'll go shopping for you.
Because
That's
that's
an option.
something else Diana is good at.
Sure.
That is a new option this
And
year.
I know Carol's good at it too, because
We'll
she
do
does
our best.
Christmas.
We'll go
We'll do our
shopping
best.
together,
Certainly.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's it.
And also, if you think that what you're donating is not big enough for a basket, don't worry, because the businesswoman will pair it with other things to create.
They have a special I haven't been to this, but I understand there's a special party where they create the baskets. They put things together and
I could be a part of that.
Ah, okay.
That's
Well,
what I
see,
want
now
to
you've
do.
got-
I
yeah,
want to
now
be
you
at
have
the
it.
basket making party.
Well, I will make sure that Carissa from Seacoast Bank knows she's in charge of
Yeah.
that.
Okay, all
Awesome.
right.
See, I found a place where I fit in. But there's a lot of opportunity for people, if you're listening to the show and you don't want to be a part of Port St. Lucie Businesswomen, but you do want to give back to the organization, there are other opportunities to give back to the organization, but you could just buy a ticket and give it to a friend, or as I said, you could do a silent auction item, or you could donate some money. What else does the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen do as far as fundraisers during the year? Are there any other ways that you raise funds? Or is this the big shebang?
this is the big push.
This
Yes,
is-
this pays for the scholarships and for the community action grants. So this is what everybody puts their attention toward.
Diana, I think you said over 300,000?
Yes,
Is that
over
what the number?
300,000 has been given in the St. Lucie County.
So, well, tell me a little about the history. We know that the fashion show has been around for 29 years, and we know Carol has been a part of the organization for 25 years. But how long has the organization itself been around?
Since the early 1980s, and it started, interesting story, it was a woman who was very up in the administration of a bank on the Treasure Coast. She applied to one of the service groups that at the time were male only, and she was turned down.
Ooh.
And so she talked to her bank president about it, and he apparently said, well, why don't you start your own? So she got together 5 women, and they were mostly from the banking industry, and they began Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. And then it expanded. We've had a lot of realtors who became members. Besides bankers, we've had different business owners, people in education, people in government. But women who were interested. And what I find interesting is that even after the service clubs opened up, there was a Supreme Court decision in, I think, 87.
Yes, Rotary clubs
and
they were the first. They had to accept women.
Even after the service clubs
Yeah.
opened up, the businesswomen kept going, because it is, a
It's
good
a
dynamic
different
and a good
type of-
supporting group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is a different type of club. And Carol and I, have something else in common, too, in that we both were early female members of the Rotary clubs. And dare I say that back then, when you were a woman and that you were visiting a Rotary club, you were kind of doing things their way, because
It was new for everybody.
it was new for everybody.
It was new
but,
for everybody.
but when I was going to those club meetings, I didn't want anyone to think that I was silly or lighthearted. I wanted those guys to think that I was serious and hardworking.
Certainly, yes.
And I didn't usually
Belonged there,
I
yes,
didn't
yes.
usually show my weaker side, of which there's plenty weaker sides, let me tell you. But in a organization where you have kindred spirits, kindred friends, then that's something that, as you said, you could share your acceptance, your accreditation, acceptance to the bar, accreditation for a test, but also your upcoming wedding, or your, people didn't pay happy dollars in Rotary to announce they were pregnant. Let me just say that.
I don't know. I had a pretty friendly club. I mean, we were in different organizations. Yeah.
Yeah. And nothing against them, because they were they
Yes.
are an incredible group. They are. They're still an incredible group. But what I find at the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Club is a different type of dynamic, and something. And I know when I had visited before, as a member and a potential. Before I was a member, as a visitor and a potential member, is when women conquer disease, when something happens in their family that is not necessarily a positive thing, but they want to share it, they're more likely to share in that type of forum.
And the one thing that we have done for the last several years, I have been involved with it for probably 5 years, and it's been going on for longer than that. We sponsor, I think it's the water table at the Making Strides Against Cancer walk. It's around the Met Stadium and IRSC out in St. Lucie West. And we also have members who walk. We've had at least 10 walkers, I think, for each of the years, and I think more this year. This year, we had just lost one of our members to breast cancer, which affected all of us, tremendously. And I think they're planning something even more special for this year when we do the walk.
To recognize.
Yes, it touched all of us very, very closely. So that's something that we all do together.
When you're meeting together twice a month for 25 years, think about all those meetings that you've gone to and how you've seen the changes in the organization. For example, 25 years ago, there weren't as many women in management positions as there are today.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's not unusual at all for a woman to be a manager or the CEO or the owner or the creator of a business. And having the support of other women at the organization is really, really special to celebrate that. So we talked a little bit about the grants and the application process with the grants, and that's going to be sometime in May when you're able to, you'll be able to apply for grants. And the organizations that apply for grants are varying organizations. What is the typical amount for the grants that the organizations are awarded? Does it vary?
It does vary. Go ahead.
No, it varies on the project that they are applying for.
So, and all the information is on the website?
Yes.
So you could look on the website, and again, stay abreast, because May is not that far away, and that's when the applications open. Also, if you're a high school senior, or if you are currently in college and looking for further scholarship money, you do have to be a woman to apply, correct?
All this is handled through the IRSC scholarships and foundation.
And the foundation.
Foundation.
Okay.
So what will happen? We give them the parameters, of what we are looking for, and they will find students that woman who has been out of school for 10 years and has 2 small children and she wants to go back
and they
to finish
suggest
a
they
program.
apply for
She will. We normally get 3 applications, and then we have a scholarship committee that will read all of them, and then we kind of rank them individually. And it's interesting because even though we're all different, different people coming from different parts of life and so forth, generally there is agreement. We're all pretty close about which one we think is the outstanding application, and so then one will be chosen. And again, we have 4 categories this year. The 4th is going to be a woman that is going into the technical sciences, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math.
Or STEAM, when you add arts.
The arts can be any of the groups.
Yes, yeah.
But particularly, the woman who's going into the science and technology. So that is the new 4th one this year.
Right.
But they will apply through the IRSC Foundation.
And what's interesting is that it's us working hard with this fashion show. You know where the money's going to go to, and then they invite those students back. These ladies that win these scholarships, and to hear their stories after the fact.
So do they come to the meetings?
Yes.
Tell me about that. They the students that are winners of the scholarships and the agencies that win the grants.
They're done as separate, because
Okay.
actually when the agencies come, there are usually about 10 of them. So, that is done separately. And on a different day, then we'll have the scholarship recipients come in. But to hear their stories, and what it means to them to be able to go back to school or to stay in college once they've started, or what their hopes and dreams are as a high school senior going into college. And they'll all be going to IRSC.
And so a lot of times these are students or young women who might not go on to college if they didn't have, and certainly the scholarship is probably not going to pay for all of their expenses, but it'll pay for enough of their expenses for them to be able to, move on and take the next step, especially for that woman who's going back to school.
The $2,500 will pretty much take care of the costs of the tuition and the college-related costs, usually.
For 1 year?
For 1 year.
So are any of the scholarships renewable?
We usually do them for 1 year.
So not really.
But then there are other things that they can apply for through the foundation.
That's true. And IRSC has a really extended foundation with a lot of different scholarship opportunities.
Certainly. And having worked in scholarships, on the community-based scholarships for several organizations, the $2,500 is on the higher end of what is awarded.
It sure is.
Yeah, and so it makes a difference.
Because the cycle for the Education Foundation scholarships has just opened up too, and most of those scholarships are more on the $500 to $1,000. So $2,500 is a very generous scholarship, and it usually, is something that those girls and young women can make a difference in their life permanently, because we all know that education is never wasted, that it's always a step up, and it may be education that is traditional education, it may be education that is more toward a certain career, but IRSC has so many different types of career institutes now. I have a friend who's part of the fashion design, the interior design institute. That's what she's doing. And the things that they learn in there, and it's exciting for them because it's all stuff they really want to learn. And it's all stuff that will help them be prepared for a career, and this knowledge that they won't ever lose. So it's really, you've got the scholarships, you've got the grants, you've got the community grants. You really have everything in the community covered.
But nothing is possible unless we make this event a big hit.
You do.
We need the funds to be able to offer all that. So that's the importance of this fashion show and the support that we need.
And whether you're listening and you just want to buy a ticket, or you want to buy a ticket and give it to somebody else, or you want to buy a table, you have table.
We do not have just specific tables,
but people can buy a table's worth of tickets. So everybody said,
and they can always call Diana.
You buy 10 tickets, we'll get you a table.
Okay.
We'll put you all together.
So you won't just get the chairs. One of the other things I like about this event is that it is a fashion show. It is a mother-daughter or generational type bonding. And I just happen to know one of our members offhand who regularly brings her daughter and her mother, Kathy Post, to the fashion show. And when my daughter was little, this was one of the first special events that I took her to as well. And it's really neat to see that.
For years, I took my mother. You know, she has passed away now, but for years she loved going to this. Yeah, it was her big event. She'd come and the Christmas dinners, but she loved just the kind of the atmosphere of it, you know, and how elegant it was.
It is elegant, and it is a bonding experience for the family members, or for your friends, or for the women in your office, that if you want to get a group together. But even if you don't want to come to the fashion show, you can still either donate money or donate a gift for the silent auction.
Or just be a sponsor.
What are some of the sponsorship opportunities?
Well, the different sponsorship opportunities range anywhere from $300 to $5,000, and then obviously, and that's all on our website. What you receive based on that type of sponsorship, but we will make sure that we do highlight your business or your names in our program and in our social media and our website.
And I will say that the social media aspect of the fashion show, it is shared by all of the members and their families and their businesses. So if you are a sponsor, you're going to get a whole lot of
Absolutely.
coverage.
Plenty of coverage.
How many people usually come to the fashion show?
We sell out at 300
yes.
every year. So the tickets are limited, and we sell out fast.
So tickets are now on sale. You can get them from any business member.
Or on the website.
Eventbrite
page in Port St. Lucie Business Women.
Port St. Lucie Business Women. And you can also go to the website and get all the information that you need about the grants, about the scholarships, and about membership.
Absolutely. Everything. There's links on our website that'll give you the forms that you need and explains detail information on each.
And when we talk about the 300 now, that's a measure of the growth. I think when I first, the first one I went to was in a venue that I know seats 100. So it's at least tripled over the years in size in the fashion show.
And just, you know, it's hard to describe the amount of silent auction items on the tables. But if I told you that you had a whole parameter of tables filled with silent auctions, and then there was also an inner circle with more silent auction items. There were so many people there that there was a lot of time that you could take shopping. So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want to go to a fashion show because I want to spend my Saturday shopping instead, hey, this is the place for you, because you have all of this shopping opportunities, and you also can see some of the latest fashion from local businesses with local men and women who are modeling.
Absolutely.
Certainly. And I was just thinking, you asked what all that we do, and there's something else I should mention, though it is not a fundraiser. The businesswomen have been known for having seminars. Not every year, because it is a huge endeavor to do. But we've brought in national authors.
I think Diana could do it.
Sure. Hey. We've brought in national authors, TV hosts, people who do workshops on personal growth, and had people come in and young women come in. We had it at the PGA Learning Center. I think that seats about 400, but it was a huge group. And it's something that we do kind of as a service to the community. It's not really a fundraiser, and we've kind of had to realize that we can't think of it that way, but as a service to the women of the community who are involved in business.
Well, and it's important to realize that not everything is about raising money. Some of it is about raising awareness and empowering women and the community and the seminars do that as well.
And I'm hearing that we're talking about another one, so we may be back talking about that. But
Well, good.
This is our big fundraising effort.
The big fundraising effort again is the Port St. Lucie Business Women's Fashion Show, Hawaiian Heels. That's April 6th. And it's going to be at, what's the location again, Diana?
It's at the PGA Island Club.
The PGA Island Club, which fits very nicely in with the Hawaiian heels,
Absolutely.
I might say.
And that is a new venue for a lot of people who haven't been there.
Mm-hmm.
That will be something new to see.
Absolutely.
So if you're interested in purchasing tickets and finding out more about the Port St. Lucie Business Women, the website is www.pslbw.com. BW, Port St. Lucie Businesswomen.com. Or you know what? Put in the Google search Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. It'll lead you right to it.
Absolutely.
Check out the Facebook page. Share the event. Even if you can't come to the event, reach out and be a part of the community and giving back to the community. Diana Gonzalez and Carol Wyatt have been my guests today, and they're both members of the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. Carol, a longtime 25-year member. Can't believe
Amazing.
it. You must have been a teenager when you began. And Diana, who's been a member for 3 years, also works for WQCS, and she is chairman of the fashion show this year, April 6th. So thank you both for joining me.
You're very welcome.
And thank you for listening. I will see you next Friday with more.
The Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Friday nights on WPSL at 6:05. Archives of this show can be found on YouTube. Go to WPSLTV.com and look up some of your favorite episodes of the Sue Ellen Sanders Show on YouTube.
Visit honorflightsefl.org.
Do you have glaucoma or high eye pressure? Are you forced to use daily eye drops? If so, this message may be for you. Local doctors are conducting a clinical research study of an investigational dropless therapy, and they're looking for participants right here in this area. To qualify, you must have glaucoma or high eye pressure in both eyes and have not had surgery for your glaucoma. If you qualify, you'll receive study medication at no cost.